Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time we're back with Space Cadets Away missions, and this is going to be mission number 3. So I've set up what is going to be the orbital platform here on Earth, of course infested with aliens and such. I've also put blue beads on each one of these inner tiles because that's low gravity zone, and I'll explain that here in the rules in a second. Alright, we're going to be playing with 2 Rocketeers. We're going to be using First Officer Annie Fletcher in the orange, and we'll be using Dr. Hugo Garcia in the green. And I'm going to have to explain everything here. The objectives. The objectives for this scenario. In order to win, we must get an alien blood sample from each alien type. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 alien types. There's brains in a jar. There's space leeches, sentinels, bugs, saucermen. So yeah, that's what we need to do. How do we get alien blood samples? We have to use the air knife for a successful hit. So that's how we do it. Once we get every different alien type blood sample, we have to get back to the shuttlecraft, have no aliens in the shuttlecraft, use an action to start the shuttlecraft and get out of Dodge. So basically we've landed the shuttlecraft on the orbital platform and we're going to start. There's an introduction to it and there are some special rules which I guess I'll explain briefly here. When we've explored every tile in the base, when there's no tiles to explore, we're going to start flipping over red alert tokens, and they do bad things. And the muster then space will be the shuttlecraft. Alright, we have monsters from the id. It's right here in the center of the base. Whenever a Rocketeer enters this tile, he or she makes an immediate free IQ roll. If you pass, you lose an oxygen. Overkill may be spent normally. If you fail, the Rocketeer gains an oxygen. Okay, talked about the red alert stage. The synaptic amplifier. Alright. There's one of the outside tiles, this one, the one up here, or this one here, has the synaptic amplifier. If a Rocketeer turns off this device, the successful IQ action, the Sentinels can move. Until then, Sentinels can move through hatches. Normally, Sentinels can't move through hatches, so that's it. There's also a thrall control somewhere. And so all thralls we run into in the board right now are going to be war thralls until we turn that device off. And there's the master brain is one of the 3 as well. This place is infested pretty heavily. We need to turn off the master brain, otherwise it will attack. And if we find the master brain, deactivate it, then that player, either Annie Fletcher or Hugo Garcia, will get a free non-combat action for the rest of the turn. Whew! Alright, I am going to quickly read the introduction here in a second. Then we're going to take a look at our 2 characters, the items they have, and then we're going to get into it. Alright, the first of our 2 Rocketeers is First Officer Annie Fletcher. She's got 4 hit points. She starts with 6 oxygen when we're playing with 2 Rocketeers, which we are. Her overkill option is move out. Per overkill spent, you get 1 free move action to self or Rocketeer in the same tile. The move action must be used immediately. She has 2 regular action points and 1 non-combat action per turn. And I'm going to have her going second in this first opening turns. So what can you do for actions? You can attack with a weapon, move open a hatch, heal, analyze an item, subdue brain or thrall, talent, move out once per game turn. Free actions are picking up items, using gear, exchanging items, including oxygen. Alright, she's starting off with an atomic rifle. Overkill is dislodge, move 1 alien, in line of sight 1 tile, and we'll get into the details of how the dice roll depending on if that's your red is the current space you're in, and then 1 space away, 2, 3. She has a headset. First Officer only. First Officer can use move out on a Rocketeer in any tile. So normally she has to be in the same tile to use her move out ability, but with her headset she can move out somebody anywhere else. She's starting off with food, pills, and powdered juice. And I've chosen this for her, so it's got 2 charges on it basically. Heal 2 hit points, user only, so she can use that twice. She only has 4 health, so might be a good idea to have some healing with her. And of course the air knife, which is very important for this scenario, because on a success you get 1 hit and 1 alien blood. And the whole gist of this scenario 3 is to collect alien blood. So that's what we have for Annie Fletcher. Let's take a look at Hugo Garcia. Alright, so Hugo Garcia here, he's got 5 health points, a little bit more. I'm going to have him going first, 2 action points, 1 non-combat. His overkill option is Sawbones. For overkill spent, restore 1 hit point to yourself or 1 Rocketeer in the same tile. All the same actions, 6 oxygen for 2 Rocketeers, like I said, 5 health. He's starting with a ray gun. Overkill, hit and run, acting Rocketeer takes a free move action, rolls 5 dice in the same space you're in, 3 1 space away. He's got his med pack Doctor only, which of course he is. Doctor can use Sawbones at a range of 1 in line of sight, and is +1 die for all heal actions. A heal action is using your IQ ability. His IQ is 4. Annie's is also 4. If you roll an IQ success, you can heal 1 health. He also is bringing along a small oxygen tank, which can give him 2 oxygen extra. So he'll have 6 oxygen, and of course the air knife, which is all important for collecting blood samples. Alright, zoom out. We're going to read the introduction to the scenario, and I'll try and explain the rules as we go along. I've done a couple playthroughs of this already, the first and second missions up on my channel. So let's get into it. This is Mission 3, Earth Orbital Platform. Alright, so I'm going to read the introduction here. It's a report from Dr. Hugo Garcia. We really went in almost blind in that first raid on the enemy platform orbiting high above the Earth. We had identified 7 separate entities in the alien hierarchy. But other than the thrall, the enslaved human, we were woefully ignorant. So the Rocket Patrol sent us in to secure 6 biological samples. The Brain, the Leader, the Saucerman, the Sentinel, the Leech, and the Bug. Each of them more malicious and destructive than the next, but each needed to be properly categorized and studied. We knew the Saucerman existed in superior numbers, but the Leader type was clearly dominant. According to previous firefight accounts, the two were mentally linked and vulnerable to each other's famous psychic scream. But for rigorous analysis, the Interplanetary Science Institute requires specimens. Our assault shuttle hooked on along one of the rotating struts, and the alien response was fierce. Nevertheless, we could not simply fire our automatic rifles at the enemy, but instead had to close in and bring in our air knives into play. As you may surmise, deploying a knife against an erupted pod of furious leeches is a tricky business. I managed to take down 2 of them, but the third sunk its beak into my leg and began to sprout. Before I knew it, I was facing 3 leeches again. Fortunately, a quick-thinking Rocketeer launched himself across a low-gravity span of the heart of the rotating platform and interposed himself, saving my life and allowing us to withdraw to the shuttle with our mission accomplished. So that's a report, kind of giving you some back flavor for what's about to happen. Alright, we're going to start with Dr. Garcia. So for this episode, I'm just going to have the Doctor go once, First Officer go once, and the procedure for going is our Rocketeers get to take their turns, then the aliens go, then there's a cleanup phase. Once again, I've done a couple playthroughs of this, so you could watch those if you want to see how the rules work. So let's begin. We're starting off with Dr. Hugo. Alright, and the first thing we do on a turn, he is the first player, and you can change player turn order every turn. But we're going to have Garcia go first. He has to scan the closest tile to him, which of course is this one. So there's an alien, aliens on the tile, and there's a discovery token on the tile. Now let's see what the tile is. Of course, arrows have to face north. Alright, it's a rather open space, and it's right there. Alright, well, let's look at the discovery tile. What do we have? We have, for a discovery tile, we have the impossible cube. Alright, well, what is the impossible cube? Let's see if I can find it quickly here, and we'll have a look at it. So the impossible cube, if this will focus, has 3 charges on it. The Rocketeer rolls 5 dice. Successes may be spent on the Rocketeer's personal overkill option. Ooh, okay, that's what the impossible cube is. We go in here, and picking it up would be a free action. But now we have the fun beginning. We have the aliens. Holy jumping bananas. This is a lot. Oh man, 2 saucermen, a bug, and cosmic radiation. That does not sound delightful. Alright, well, we have 2 saucermen showing up immediately. Now, the bug is not going to show up because we do not have a vent. Oh, damn it, the shuttlecraft has a vent. Yep, bugs only show up in vents. It's going to show up right here in the space with Dr. Garcia and First Officer Andy Fletcher. Alright, I'm going to have to turn the camera off. I'm going to have to look up cosmic radiation. We're going to figure out what that is. Well, that's a delightful start to our playthrough, cosmic radiation. So we open the hatch there. Each player loses 1 hit point. Ooh, so Andy Fletcher's going to go down to 3 health. Dr. Garcia drops down to 4 health right from the very opening of the door. Alright, well, Dr. Garcia has 1 non-combat action, and he can do 2 other actions. And so, I think what he's going to do is he will take a non-combat action. And what he's going to do for his non-combat, he's going to move in here with the 2 saucermen, and he's going to pick up the impossible cube. So he picks that up. It's going to get 3 green tokens on it, which means he can use it 3 times, which is quite good. And then, that was his first action. He has 2 actions remaining. Oh, what does he want to do? I think what he's going to do is he may as well try and get a blood sample from one of the saucermen while he's right there. Why wouldn't he? So he's going to use his air knife to try and do it. And so he's going to be rolling 3 dice, and I use the Tomb board game dice, which are these ones. They have the axes on them, but they're 10-sided dice. They have an axe on 3 sides. The reason I use these dice is because a success in Space Cadets away missions is a 3 out of 10. So instead of using a 10-sided die and then looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s, I just use the Tomb dice that have 3 axes on them. An axe is a success. Alright, let's go to the dice tray. We're going to have Dr. Hugo attempting to get a blood sample from one of these saucermen. Alright, 3 dice. He needs a success. Come on! And he gets 2 successes, which is completely awesome. So, with the 2 successes, the first one, of course, is going to, well, we take a look at our nice success. 1 hit and 1 alien blood. Awesome. So 1 hit is going to kill the saucerman. He is toast, and we get an alien blood sample from him, so I'm just going to keep him off to the side. We've collected our first of 6 blood samples. But we have overkill options. He's got an overkill, so that was the success to hit the saucerman. Now for his overkill options, he can use his own sawbones, restore 1 hit point to self or other Rocketeer in the same space. So he could get his hit point back, or we can use the Saucerman overkill ability, which is, if we look at the Saucerman card here, the overkill there is the Psychic Scream. And the Psychic Scream, stun 1 leader or saucerman ignoring line of sight. So we could stun this other saucerman so it doesn't get a chance to go. And I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. We're going to stun this guy. So by killing his buddy, we've actually stunned that one. Alright, we now have, that was his combat action. He has 1 more action point remaining. And I think what he's going to do, he's going to use his 1 action point to move back here. And he's out of action points. Now he can spend an oxygen to do 1 extra action. And I don't know if he wants to perform an extra action for an oxygen. I don't think he's going to at this point. I think he's just going to end his turn. So as we kind of see what he's doing over there. Alright, up next is going to be Annie Fletcher. Alright, Annie Fletcher's turn. First thing she has to do, of course, is scan a tile. And this, of course, goes away because we've scanned it and dealt with it. Alright, so she's going to scan this tile. So this one's 2 away, this one's 2 away. She's going to scan this one. And we shall see what we find there. So it's another one. Now this has hatches here, so that's a closed hatch. It's a discovery token. So what do we get for the discovery token? We get the force field belt. Ooh, that sounds good. Force field belt. What is the force field belt? You need to use an IQ test to cancel one hit. This item may be used multiple times per turn. So basically you can use it 3 times, but you need to make an IQ test to have it take effect. Otherwise, I guess you fumble with it and you can't figure out how to use it. So that's what the force field belt is. So there you have it. Yes, aliens. What is going to show up here? We get a leader and 2 saucermen. Ooh, okay. 1 leader, 2 saucermen. Alright, so we're going to get a leader, which are these ones, and 2 saucermen. So this, I'm assuming this is an alien space orbital platform, not a human one. Okay, that's Annie Fletcher doing her scan action. And now she has a non-combat action and 2 regular actions. So, ooh boy, what are we going to do for her? I think the first thing she's going to... Oh man, this is gets a little bit tricky here. I'm going to have to think about it. Actually, I don't need to think about it. She's going to take a combat action first. She's going to use the air knife. Success, 1 hit. So she's going to roll 3 dice. She's trying to get a blood sample from the bug. So let's go to the dice tray, roll 3 dice, and see if she can take out the bug and get a blood sample. Alright, her first action. Come on, Annie, let's get a blood sample. And she gets 1 success, which is all she needs to kill the bug and collect a blood sample from it with the air knife. Excellent stuff, Annie. Alright, let's go back to the board. She has a non-combat action and then a regular action left. Alright, so for her non-combat action, she's going to move into this space with the stunned saucerman. And for her regular and final action without spending oxygen, she's going to take a shot in here, and she's going to shoot at the leader. No, she's going to shoot at a regular saucerman. She's using her atomic rifle. She's going to be rolling 5 dice, which is cool. So let's go ahead and have her roll 5 dice, shooting at one of the regular saucermen. Alright, she's going to be rolling 5 dice. Come on, nail this guy. Regular saucerman. And she gets 1 hit and 1 overkill, which is actually good. So she's going to kill one of the saucermen, and then she gets to use an overkill to go back to the board. Alright, so with the 2 successes, 1 success is going to kill a saucerman out of here. The other one, I think, once again, we're probably going to use the saucerman Psychic Scream. And so if we take a look at Psychic Scream again for the overkill option, Psychic Scream, stun 1 leader or 1 saucerman. We're going to stun the leader because he rolls a lot more dice when he attacks. So the leader is stunned, the saucerman stunned. Excellent. Alright. Now, Annie Fletcher could use an oxygen to take 1 more action, but I think she's not going to. She's not going to do that. And so that is basically the end of our Rocketeer's turn. They're both down 1 hit point. Up next, we have the alien phase, I believe. Indeed. So, now it is the aliens' turn. So we're going to consult the aliens. So basically we have a leader, we have a saucerman. And so we take a look at our alien cards. We're going to find saucerman, and we're going to find the leader. Well, the leader is stunned, so he's not going to do anything. He's going to lie there. So we're not going to really bother too much with the leader. You can pause that and take a look, see what he does, but he would be rolling 4 dice, but he's stunned at the moment. So the saucerman. Now the saucerman would move to get somewhere where he can shoot, but they can move and attack through closed hatches. Move and attack in the same turn. Saucerman, moved by a leader, cannot move again. So basically what he's going to do, he's going to be rolling 2 dice. He's 1 space away from Annie. He's going to roll 2 dice. He's going to try and shoot at her. So let's get to the dice tray, and he's going to roll 2 dice, shooting at Annie Fletcher. Alright, alien space saucerman's got 2 dice, and he misses. I love it. So he shoots at Annie, and he doesn't do anything. And that's basically the alien's turn. Let's go back to the board. Alright, so we're into the cleanup phase. The first thing we do is all stunned aliens recover. So the leader recovers, and so does the stunned saucerman. Okay. Then we would remove all hatch open markers, hatch locked markers, and staggered markers. For sentinels, we reset all of Rocketeer's action points. So all our action points for our doctor and our first officer go back to resetting. And then we can decide on the turn order who's going to be going first, who's going to be going second. And I think, oh man, what are we going to do? I guess we're going to have, let's have Annie go first again, start the next episode, and then we'll have Dr. Hugo go in the second episode. So, we need 6 blood samples. We've already got 2 on the first turn. We got a bug blood sample, we got a saucerman blood sample. We need a leader blood sample. We need a sentinel blood sample, a space leech blood sample, and a brain in a jar space sample. So this is Space Cadets Away Missions. We're playing Mission 3, Earth, Orbital Platform. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, likes. Really appreciate it. Join me next time for the continuation of Space Cadets Away Missions.